Alright, hello and welcome everybody. I am sorry for the delay. I was trying to get a stubborn cat to eat some cat food that he didn't like, and I only partially succeeded. And it's tricky. It's actually even harder than getting a stubborn vanilla map purist to play in Alchemy League, but I still try that too. Welcome everybody, this is another cast of Alchemy League Season 7. I'm your host for this video, TechChariot, and we are going to go over 2 sets, 4 games total, because they're Play L2, Age of Empires 2 content. But like good Age of Empires content, unique Age of Empires content, the kind of thing that you can't get anywhere else kind of Age of Empires content. So definitely don't click away if you haven't already. We have some really awesome content coming up. We have Lion versus... Wait, what? That's not the screen I want. Oh well. Then we'll just have to change it. Because I'm going to show the players. We're very lucky in Alchemy League. We have access to a lot of different players of all kinds of skill levels. We got guys all the way up here at 2K4, maybe even 2K5. Niaz, he does very well. And then we got folks all the way down here at 1100, about 1000 elo. So we got a lot of diversity in that respect. We have in our first set, we got Nope 1585. It's like he's mid 1300s. He's come a long way in Alchemy League. I remember when Nope was like 1100. He's definitely learned a lot. I don't know if it's because of our league or if it's because of training for our league, but he likes it and we like him. He's done a good job. He's done right by us. So Nope is going to be up against Lion in the first set, and that's the round wild. So that means that the matchmaking algorithm couldn't find a week where both of them are free, so it just said, alright, you two play whenever you want during the sprint. We're not going to give you a specific week to play, and so as compensation, you guys get to pick whatever maps you want to play on, essentially. So they each bring one home map, and so they are mid-1300s to basically mid-1400s. So that's the first set that we're going to cast. And then the second set that we're going to cast is going to be the Otter one versus Raven. These two guys right here. So we're talking about lower 1600s to lower 1700s. Just a little bit of information about these players. Nope 1585 is from India. Lion is from the United States. The Otter one is from Germany. And Raven is from Armenia. Okay, so we've introduced the players. We've talked about... I guess they still have a civilization draft, Lion and Nope do. So you can see 5 admin bans, just sort of random bans initially, and then they globally ban 2 civilizations each, and then they pick 2, snipe 1, and then pick 2 more. And so after that entire process, Lion was left with Japanese, Saracens, and Romans, which I think are a pretty epic draft. And Nope was left with Georgians, Byzantines, and Portuguese, which is even better. So, the first game that they play is on canals. So is on moats, and we'll dive right into it. Let's go over to my AoE2 overlay, and we'll hit play here. So, the theme of Alchemy League Season 7 is remastered Ensemble Studios maps. And it's actually kind of funny. The devs just did a remastering of Ensemble Studios maps of their own for the July PUP preview update. I think we beat them. I think our for the maps that we have overlap on, I think Alchemy League's maps are better. I think our Moats map is much better than their Moats map. I think that our Team Glaciers map is much better than their Team Glaciers map. But that doesn't mean that we completely knocked them all out of the park. Because yeah, you know, it's kind of a dedicated fan base, and you know, people are really passionate about these sorts of things. It's not their job, you know, they do it because they love to do it, and then they get tipped a little bit if they do well from the community. There were actually some things that the devs did better than we did, I think, for some of these ES maps. Holy background noise, says the Outer one. Alright, that's my fan. I can turn that down. Hopefully that's a little bit better. But this map is not one. This map is gorgeous. It was made by Zetnus. And who would have thought a Moats map would actually feature, like, some walls and some moats? Like, look at that. And some bridges. It looks kind of like a medieval castle. So we're looking down here at 6 o'clock. We've got Nope 1585 playing as the Cyan Georgians. And then at around midnight, or 12 o'clock, depending on the time of day, we have Lion playing as the blue Saracens. Why are you the top fan? I have no idea. Maybe because we can hear you better than my background fan. So Lion not wasting any time with these petty wood lines inside the walls. He's going straight out. We did have some a little bit of play, differences on the traditional moats. There are no forests inside, just straggler trees. Zenus wanted to at least put a little bit in here in case you needed it. Maybe he felt that the game would be too aggressive if these were not in here, but you really, for like long-term stuff, you really want to go outside and get these big wood lines here. Lion now headed out of his base. He's going to go look around for Nope. And Nope going to do the same. He uses the new chickens. And Georgians with this free starting mule cart. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It helps out a lot with resource efficiency on all alchemy maps, and then a lot of other maps besides alchemy maps. I'm surprised Nope hasn't gone after this boar yet. Has he found it? That's astonishing. Well, he doesn't see it right now. Maybe he assumed that it was lamed. He's actually going out to the deer. That is very unfortunate. He just happened to not scout the boar. Oops. Well, that sucks. So he's building another... but it's not the end of the world. I mean, if he were like Japanese or something, or not Japanese, because they get half price. But if he were some other civilization, and he went out here and built a mill, let's say another mill, that would be a bigger deal. But he's going to need 2 of these mule carts eventually anyway, so it's not a huge deal, I guess. I like Saracens. I like Saracens a lot. I think that Saracens are a great choice against Georgians. Georgians love to go their cavalry, and they're regenerating cavalry, and Saracens are just like, nope, camels. We'll just camel the crap out of your cavalry. So Nope's going to have to be careful. He's going to have to adapt to the Saracen camels. I mean, I guess he could go pikemen. We generally see these types of defensive cavalry civilizations, like they like to go heavy cavalry knights plus halberdiers. But Saracens also have compelling archers, too. We actually don't really know what Lion is planning. But I think that Lion is going to play aggressively, just because he came... Oh, look at this. He's sending a lot over to wood. Actually, he's on wood right now. I bet he's on his way up to the next stage. Actually, let's go check. We should probably cycle through the... There we go. And we'll click this again. No, actually. Nope is the one who's on his way up to the next stage. Let's see if we can cycle through here, too. So Nope going up at 20 pop. I wonder if Nope is doing some kind of 20 pop scouts build. That would seem to suggest he's only got 2 on wood. So yeah, I think that's what he's up to. Although I think Nope will need to be taking more wood soon, because he needs to get a barracks up and he needs to get a stable up if that is indeed his plan. Doesn't want to forget about building the barracks first. If he were the Khmers... Oh, look at this. Look. Nope has got a double boar lure. Where did he even get these boars from? Did he lame Warlion? Because his own boar is still here. And I think that Nope hasn't even spotted that boar yet. No, he didn't lame Lion. Because if he did, he would have scouted Lion's base. And that is not the case. So, Nope executing this masterclass double boar lure. That's really good. For a 1350 player, I'd say that's pretty good. So now, he can't build a stable. So he's got to build something else. He's going to build this barracks now. Yeah, he forgot his stable because he was too busy showing off, luring the boar, but that's okay. It was a really good boar lure, and he's going to get a lot of food from that. Maybe he doesn't care about the scouts. I don't know. Maybe he wants to go stable blacksmith and use all of this extra food from the boars to just go fast castle. It's the beauty about Age of Empires. You can just change your plan. But he does seem to be coming out here looking for what Lion is doing. A lion fighting off one of the gators. The alligators or crocodiles defending the moat. And Nope should be able to see this. I don't really understand this. I don't know what this was. That wouldn't have walled anything out. I don't know what Lion was doing. And yeah, I think Nope is considering fast castle because he has so much food now. Nope, he's queued up. He's queued up a couple more villagers. And what's the plan? Nope, what's the plan? He really should come out here and get this boar. He should know about the chickens. Yeah, he knows about the chickens. Now he's going to come over here and take the chickens. Okay, he is going scouts. Ah, there it is. Okay, so there's a stable. He is going to go scouts. He was probably tempted to go fast castle for a little bit. Now, Warlion doing the smart thing and palisade walling this off. Nope did not scout this, or he scouted it, but he didn't spot the villager. And Warlion has been able to wall this villager in time. Otherwise, this scout maybe could have, with the hill advantage, maybe could have killed this villager. And Lion knows that this scout is here, so he's going to come and fight it. And Nope just needs to maintain the hill advantage. Yeah, because looks like Lion's scout is hurt as well. Oh, and Lion just barely managing to kill Nope with the hill advantage. And Lion now has a villager outside, and he wants to let his scout out. I don't really... I guess it's only got 1 HP. I don't think it's worth it, because he just deleted his wall here. Like, what if this scout just slipped through? But Lion building a barracks. And, looks like Nope wants to come back for some more. He sent another scout. And he's going to try to get in on Lion. Remember that Lion has a market and a blacksmith. So, Lion is doing the Saracen shenaniganery. He's actually going to lose this villager, and this barracks is going to be denied. This scout is too weak to stop it, and Lion is not going to be able to quick wall in time. So Nope is able to deny that barracks, which is a good win for him, because Lion is headed to Castle Age, and he needs wins. I don't know what Lion is going to do with Castle Age. Maybe he'll go Saracen Monk Rush or something. That would be pretty delightful, but I don't think so. He'll probably go something safe, like booming. It's what everybody does. Although I've seen a lot of compelling Castle Age pushes on this map. Did Nope get value out of his scouts? I'm not sure. Maybe if these scouts wrapped around here and found this villager and he got 2 villager kills, you know, he could make the argument for good value. And he actually is headed in the right direction for that. And Lion, I don't know that Lion can see this. Oh, he sees it. Yeah, he's walling his villager in. So Nope is focused on getting in. He doesn't realize that Lion is here finishing a barracks. And now Lion can make spearmen from this barracks to fight off the scouts. See, Nope kind of views this as a juicy area to attack because the house had negative armor in the feudal age and he had a hill advantage. But now that Lion is Castle Age, the house has more health and armor, so he's probably not going to get in. Lion making a stable now, so Lion reading it. It's like, all right, you know, I want to go into camels. I know my opponent has scouts. I'm going to shut these scouts down with some Saracen camels. Saracen camels are powerful. I think that they have extra health or perhaps extra armor. I think it's health. So Lion's got a spearman out, but he hasn't engaged yet. Nope. Avoiding the spearman. Yeah, he doesn't want to fight that. Nope does have the score lead, but Nope hasn't clicked up yet. So Nope will need to click up soon. Otherwise he's going to get overpowered here by Lion. Usually Lion likes to play very aggressively, but he's added a second town center this time. So he's definitely playing it safe. Maybe Lion feels like he has a good chance of winning this season. We see a lot of repeat offenders in terms of winning in Alchemy League, but it does also move around a lot. Different people win. I'd like to reiterate this. I've had some people say, you know, that they didn't want to play in Alchemy League. They had a good time playing in Alchemy League, but they didn't win very much. They won almost no games that they played, and they were just really embarrassed. I think it's important to reiterate that there is, if you sign up for Alchemy League, for all those that might be watching the video and considering playing in Alchemy League, if you sign up for Alchemy League and you don't win a single game, like nobody is going to look at that and be like, wow, this person sucks. You know, nobody is going to look at that and be like, oh, you know, shame on them. They didn't try very hard. Alchemy League is the hardest competition out there. Like, there is pretty much no copying people for Alchemy League. The maps are usually brand new, or at least most of them are brand new in a season. Lion taking a bad fight against Crocodile is actually going to lose a Spearman there. That'll help Nope. Crocodile is smartly using the hill advantage. You don't see the pro players play it. The maps are not available for very long. There's generally not a lot of time to practice with them. The scheduling is aggressive. I mean, you just have the 2 weeks and that's it. Alchemy League is very hard. And that's why most people don't play in it. Only really, really dedicated Age of Empires fans that are kind of philosophical, you know, that can look at a map and be like, oh, you know, I bet that this would be a good thing to try, or this would be a good thing to try. It's Nope gets another villager pickoff right here. But Alchemy League is an incredibly hard 1v1 competition. Looks like Nope has decided to boom. He's adding 2 more town centers himself, hoping to get caught up to Lion. Lion is at 47 and Nope is at 40. So, yeah, you should definitely... I mean, don't sign up for Alchemy League if you want to make money. Because Alchemy League is not an efficient way to make money. Number one, the prize pool is not... It's not bad, but it's not really that good. There are... Like, we have people like 2K players and above who play in our league. And, you know, every once in a while, one of them might win $16 or $25 or something like that if they did really well. But in general, they don't really... I don't think they really do it for the money because it's pretty unpredictable, right? You know, there could be that guy that's right next to you that wins it next time. You can't really say for sure. It's just not an efficient or reliable way to earn money. It's way more reliable to like play in a big Microsoft sponsored tournament with some high-level player on your team or something like that. And some of our guys do that as well. So this Alchemy League is a community of people who just love Age of Empires. They love custom content. They love trying different things. Some of them are really good at it. Some of them are really good at looking at a map and being like, okay, you know, this is what I got to do. This map it's 3 fish, but if you can make 4, but if you do that, then you have to hope that they're going fast. You know, stuff like people can actually look at these maps and think about stuff like that. And I just look at them like, oh, you know, it looks pretty. It looks kind of like a real place in nature. I guess that's kind of cool. It's got some viable strategies. But there are really guys that can just look at it and be like, no, you want to do this. And it shows. They win money in our league. But the league is not just about those folks. It's about anybody that wants to try something different. So we pretty much have a boom fest here. Nope he's got some makeshift palisades. He's got a house wall and a market wall here. He's got a wall of his own. He still never took that boar. Oh, sad times, Nope. This boar gets to die of old age, I think. I don't think Nope is gonna go for it. Now, it looks like Nope has picked up at least 1 relic, which is important. Because Alchemy League is standard victory condition. I mean, hello, why would we limit victory options? Like, seriously, why would we do that? Literally name 1 good reason. Like, why would you reduce the number of possible ways that somebody could win the game? And I think I don't know this, but if I had to guess, it would be because some powerful person in Age of Empires lost to a Wonder victory or lost to a Relic victory and just like raged and said, I don't ever want to have that happen to me again. And I'm king of the world. And if you expect me to play in any of your tournaments, you'll make them conquest. I seriously think that's what happened. And it's really unfortunate too because, you know, that's part of the game. And the original devs back in 1999 worked really hard to develop all these different Wonder skins and then they never used them. All because people rage quit. So we don't believe in rage quitting here. We believe in maximizing the number of different options that can happen. So therefore we have a standard victory condition. And that means you can't neglect relics. You got to get the relics. And the maps are designed with that kind of thing in mind. So the maps are designed to be smart with the relics and have good relic balance and stuff. Looks like Lion is coming forward for another castle. This is an aggressive castle. It's putting some pressure on Nope. Nope can't really engage. Because there are Mamelukes and camels here. I guess Nope is just going to try to pick off some villagers, but I don't think any got picked off. I think those Mamelukes just ate the light cav for breakfast. So Nope has snagged this other relic, and I don't know what Nope's plan is. Looks like Warlion has got a really strong position here with the union of the two towers. And he's got a little bit of an economic backing, and he's got some mining camps, and he's probably going to build some other military buildings in here. Okay, so Nope is going to contest this castle. He's going to build a defensive castle of his own on his gold, and he's headed up to the Imperial Age. And to be fair, Lion is not imp. So if Nope can get up to Imperial Age, and Lion comes in to deny this castle, I don't think he can deny it because it's in range of Nope's town center. So Nope can shoot at these Mamelukes. Camels are not known for having good arrow resistance. You see that right there? That's 0/0 armor. Yeah, these boys are taking it to the face. They're not getting any protection from arrows. Vills are getting stuck a lot today. Yeah, I'm pretty jittery too sometimes, especially when going up against Lion. So Lion's going to try to come in this way instead. Nope has a fortified church. I don't know how much damage the fortified church is doing to these Mamelukes. Maybe none. I don't recall if you have to garrison the fortified churches in order for them to fire arrows, but I guess it doesn't matter. Nope is going to build a castle here, and Lion is going to build another castle. Lion, slow down with the castles, man. He's going all about these castles. Lion really wants to make Mamelukes great again. And I think Mamelukes make a lot of sense too. If you're Lion, if you can get like a good ball of Mamelukes, you basically force your opponent. And, oh, look at this! I love Lion's petards. They're just a little bit too late, unfortunately. But if you're Lion, you can get a good ball of Mamelukes, and like your opponent is in a bad position where they don't have a big army built up. Or maybe they do have a big army, but it's cavalry, because that's what Georgians like to do. It's not, like, pikemen yet. You can do some serious damage to this. Like, your opponent is going to have to... If you have a lot of Mamelukes, your opponent really has to mass up the pikemen before they can get even close. And even if they can get close, because of all of the castles that you have, you can just run home to your castles and not take very much damage. So Lion's going to come over here and he's going to destroy some walls. He might even kill that boar because Nope wouldn't kill it. We'll have to keep an eye on that boar until the end of the game to see what happens to him. Nope going to repair this house. The Mamelukes could throw their swords through the house. And there it comes. And Nope has to garrison back in the town center. He's trying to keep these Mamelukes away. He does not want these Mamelukes raiding him. But I'm not sure what he can do about the Mamelukes except make skirmishers. So it looks like skirmishers are the play for him. And Nope, being an Imperial Age, has made some siege engines, and he has begun working on Lion's castles. So 2 of Lion's castles are under attack from trebuchets. This one is about to go down, I think. He's got a 3rd trebuchet joining the fight. It's certainly chewing through his stone. And but Lion doing the raids, he's gotten in here on Nope. Nope has the score lead. I think Nope has Imperial Age over Lion. And he's still got over 100 villagers, but he does have some skirmishers working on these Mamelukes. So the Mamelukes are... Their time is limited, but they've definitely done a lot of damage. Alright, so Nope has managed to take down this castle from Lion, and I think he could repurpose his trebuchets to attack this castle and tear this castle down. Yeah, this castle's going to go down. Lion will hit Imperial Age, but he's gonna have he'll have lost 2 of his castles. I think those castles were a little bit too aggressive. I think Lion would have been better off building them out across the map or something, taking map control. But Lion does finally hit Imperial Age. And what's the plan for Lion? Let's see if we can go to Lion's point of view. And he's getting Treadmill Crane, which is interesting. Wait, what? Treadmill Crane? Why? I think Treadmill Crane improves the rate of repair. I think that's why he was getting it. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. He's also creating some stables and some light cavalries. I'm not exactly sure what that's about. Seems, I guess maybe he sees the skirmishers and he feels that he wants a unit that can tear into skirmishers. I think he needs to go onagers route, but I think this castle's going to go down. There are 4 siege engines working on it. Alright, Lion's dispatching some villagers to repair. This castle is in bad shape. Is he going to save it? Nope, he does not save it. So, Mamelukes, so Lion has lost 3 castles to Nope. I think Nope is actually kind of surprised Lion. I don't think Lion was expecting Nope to be this good. I don't think anybody was expecting Nope to be this good, but Nope has gotten really good in Alchemy League, as I was saying earlier. Maybe Lion remembers playing Nope in previous seasons of the league, and he's like, oh, I can do this with my castles. What's he going to do about it? Because those are the kinds of things that, if you have a big skill advantage over your opponent, you can get away with stuff like that. But Nope is showing Lion that he cannot get away with that anymore. So Lion's going to have to adapt to it. Nope still has the score lead. Let's check the villager count. Nope at 123 villagers, Lion at 135. So Lion's boom has been pretty enormous, and Lion's been up to 135 villagers for quite some time, I believe. So Lion has some light cav here. I don't think they're going to be a good long-term investment. We can see that Nope has already got Halberdier out on the field. And yeah, like a single thrust from that Halberdier, and it's like 1/3 of the light cav's health. So Lion's not going to be able to stay on light cav for very long. So Lion getting Bodkin. And I think Lion is going to transition into archers. I think he's going to go light cavalry and archers. It's not really a very unique Saracen composition, but it could work for him based on the buildings that are available. Lion's basically out of stone. He's actually stonewalled this, which is an interesting choice. It makes sense. And yep, here are the ranges that he's building. See if Nope has eaten that boar yet. Nope, the boar is still there. So I think that boar is going to die of old age. Lion has made a single Saracen knight, which is interesting. Yeah, so it's gonna be light calves and it's gonna be crossbowmen. Lion seems to have some pretty good macro here. He's got a lot of buildings working simultaneously, and Nope is beginning his push. He's taken down the town center. Lion still has some gold miners here. Let's actually do a health check on Lion's gold. What is Lion doing with these villagers? I guess he's just sending them to fight. He's still got gold here, but I don't think he has gold anywhere else. Yeah, this is the last of Lion's gold once he loses this. So Nope building a castle to secure this location and to take this gold. Without gold of his own, Lion will not really be able to push this castle very effectively because he will not have siege weapons. So Nope is in a very commanding lead this game. Lion coming in with a flank attack with the hussars, trying to kill as many villagers as possible. These pointy boys are just eating these hussars alive, though. Lion comes around with some crossbowmen, and this could be an unfinished castle. Alright, they are now Arbalister. Wait! The villager survives. Nope sends it back. Lion, I think Lion believed that he had killed all the villagers here, so actually this castle is going to go up. But Lion, I think, got a lot of value out of that attack. He may have lost all of his hussars, but they are acceptable losses. They are expendable men. He didn't pay them anything. All he did was feed them. Give them food. And Lion, okay, so Nope sent some more villagers, and he got the castle up even faster. So, castle up, and Lion's not going to really be able to push in there very well. He knows about it. He sent the hussar past. Where are these villagers going? Oh, alright. So Lion wants to take this gold instead. He's like, you know, you got stuff over there. I'm going to deny it, and then I'm going to come and take it. So there are some wolves that he'll have to fight off, but the wolves are unhealthy. And Lion coming in for a raid with these hussars actually happens upon these villagers heading to the town center. I think these villagers are heading forward to this gold, actually, if you want to know the truth. I think Nope is out of gold, too, so Nope really needs this gold. He should build a town center on the gold to keep it safe. To keep the villagers there safe. And I think Nope could really benefit from some cannons or something to flatten these arbalisters. He's got skirmishers, but they're not the greatest against Lion's hussars. And the two players are neck and neck now. Lion's had some solid raids for sure. Let's see, Nope is down to 108 villagers. Oh, actually, there's a little bit of gold left over here. Not a ton, but probably about 600 gold. So Nope's still spamming the trash units. He's getting forging now. Yeah, trash units work great with siege weapons, but don't tend to see a lot of siege weapons at this elo. I don't know, some people love them. Alright, Lion making some more. Oh, I like this. Alright, so Lion, look at these. So Lion is going to defy expectations and build some siege workshops here. So I don't know what these siege workshops are for, but I think a ram push out of them could be pretty compelling, and he may be going in that direction. I believe that Saracens get siege rams. I know that they get a. I know that they get lots of siege options. I always shoot by it. Yep. So Saracens get siege rams, siege onagers, bombard cannons. They have excellent sieging options. Which makes sense. I mean, they had all kinds of Crusader castles to tear down in the Middle East, in the Holy Land, so I guess it makes a lot of sense. I don't know that Nope knows about this over here. Let's see. Oh, he's starting to get clued in on it now. He's starting to notice that Lion has been building over here. So he'll probably send some stuff to react. And Lion sending another smaller force from this side, with Nope's army distracted, and he's going to raid and he's going to try to kill some trebuchets. Look at that. And he'll actually succeed in killing at least one trebuchet. Lion's still here taking this gold too. That is unfortunate for Nope. I think Nope gave up on this gold too easily. I think he should have sent like 20 villagers and some military and built a town center. And just like built it right here and just been done with it. But now Lion's going to pull, you know, over 1,000 gold out of this location. Alright, so the first of the rams is rolling forward from Lion. I would assume that Lion is making more rams, but I'm not exactly sure. Rams are a really good choice if your opponent has a lot of archers. But in this case, Nope doesn't have a lot of archers, but he has a lot of skirmishers, and he has a lot of buildings that shoot arrows. So rams are almost as good. Nope gonna send some villagers forward to shank away at that ram and destroy it. Prevent it from damaging his castle too much. Now what is this here? Oh, it looks like Lion is positioning for an attack on the side. Lion likes his various multi-directional Anglo attacks. Alright, here he is coming in for a raid. Well, that's annoying. So now Nope has to respond to that. Alright, and Lion has built a Saracen bombard cannon. I believe that Saracens get siege engineers, but we'll see. I mean, he doesn't have it right now. It's only got 12 range, but he doesn't need 13 range. The castle's range is 11. Another skirmish over this gold is Nope is content to just take this gold under the protection of his castle and some of his army. Lion sending some more capped rams. Nope. 120 villagers. Lion 123. Why hasn't Lion gotten the siege ram upgrade yet? I think it's because he's been spending all of his food on hussars. Siege ram only costs 1,000 food, and siege rams are just so good. They're even better than capped rams. I don't want to say they're significantly better, but they are a lot better. So Lion has wiped out the army in this location, and he's getting ready to move into the town, but this wave is about to get depleted by the castle. So Lion will have to send another wave. Nope has not really been able to expand past this gold. And what is this? Oh, Lion came in this way. So these Saracen archers, he used them to chisel away through these buildings. And now he's going to attack this fortified church and eventually tear this fortified church down. So Nope will have to respond to that. Well, that's kind of annoying. Yeah, Nope sending the skirmishers back this way to deal with the army of archers. Hey, Cookie Pirate, welcome. Nope also coming in this way to clear out Lion's army, but he's finding that there's a lot of Lion over here. Nope hopping in these fortified churches to take cover from the arbalisters. I believe all of these arbalisters will die. Yep. So I think that... Has Nope walled this off? No, he didn't wall it off. The hussars were just getting stuck. Just getting stuck against a villager. Nope's priority is to snipe the bombard cannons to prevent them from destroying his castle. Lion getting the second armor upgrade for his pikemen, Saracen pikemen. I think Lion has just kind of given up on camels. He had a big camel push originally, and Nope shut it down by destroying his three castles. Alright, so here's a concerted siege on the castle by Lion. He's got archers helping, he's got cannons helping, he's got lots of hussars helping, and I think this castle is going to go down. Nope seems to be overwhelmed here, even though Nope has a score lead over Lion. Nope losing that castle. I think Nope... Yeah, Nope had taken the majority of the gold out of there anyway. But he never addressed this over here. And now Lion is making some rams. And I think Lion's plan is to attack from the side with siege rams. Although he still hasn't gotten the siege... Oh, he's getting the siege ram technology now. Excellent. Well, then I can stop harping about it. But I think this has been a pretty good back and forth game so far. It seems like Nope reached a certain point where he just was like, how do I kill this guy? You know, like he could not find a way. He's been trying, but Lion keeps on attacking him from different directions. Even though he has the score lead, and even though he's got a bigger economy, and probably an advantage at home, Lion's using the military, I think, a little bit better. Lion has a little bit better military control this game. Alright, here come the siege rams. Yeah, this one halberdier is not going to be enough. 8 damage. +3. He's doing 11 damage a pop to these siege rams. They have 270 HP. So Lion's spawning more siege rams. And I think at this point you just kind of send the siege rams past the archery range and you go for the castle. And kind of meet in the middle. But Lion is content with just destroying as many buildings as he can in this area. He's got a lot of cannons working on this castle. And he's now spamming more and more hussars. He's not pop-capped, but he's close. Let's see where Nope is at. Yeah, Nope is at 133 population. Got about 100 villagers. These villagers coming out, getting cut down by the hussar. Lion expands. He builds more and more stables forward. Lion's archers march forward into the ruins of Nope's town center. Clearing out the last of the units as Lion works to reposition his cannons. I guess they're out of range of both the church and the castle. And now he's sieging this castle. And I think Nope will call the GG pretty soon. He's got nothing on gold. He does have over 7,000 gold, though. And he's got a lot of buildings queued up. Alright, never mind. I guess Nope is determined to continue fighting this. But these are Saracen archers, so you can't wall these guys out. And now Lion is into Nope's base. And Nope's villager count is going to start dropping rapidly. And it's already not doing well. And Nope getting Onager, but calls the GG. Yeah, it's a little too late for Onager for Nope, sadly. But that would have been a good thing to do about 10 minutes ago. But then again, you know, Lion could have just converted them. So, it's hard. I think Georgians just have way better economy early game than Saracens do. And that's something that Nope had to take advantage of. And he sort of did take advantage of it. But he was never really able to hurt Lion. He just all he did was let Lion hurt himself. And then he was up to Imperial Age more responsibly. Treb down 3 of Lion's castles. So Lion with a compelling KD basically killed 1.5 units for every 1 unit of his own that died. Excellent buildings raised and lost. Lion with better Castle Age, Nope with better Feudal and Imperial Age times. Nope. Lion got 1 relic, and Nope got 4. If Nope had been able to get 5 relics somehow, he probably could have won. You know, because it took Lion a long time to kill him. Alright, let's go back to the replays and check out their second game, which is played on canals. So Canals was also made by Zetnus. And in my opinion, this map is also better done than the new version of Canals released by the devs. But both versions are better than the old version of Canals. But you know, this one is fun because it preserves the original feel of the Canals map, while also making it fair and adding a small amount of hills. You can't do a lot of hills on Canals because these canals are actually, when the script is generated, these canals are actually drawn after the elevation takes place. So for instance, if there's a hill right here and it decides, oh, that's the shortest route, there's no way to tell it to avoid existing hills. It just will go right over the hill. It depends only on the terrains that are existing on the map at the time, which is somewhat unfortunate. So we got Nope playing as the Cyan Byzantines, an excellent choice, and we have Lion playing as the Blue Japanese. So this is a classic Age of Kings matchup right here. Who do you guys favor? I know who I favor. Byzantines don't get an eco bonus. So they have a slower start. They do have defensive bonuses, like this house has 605 HP compared to the usual 550. You know, so the buildings have more health. They get Town Watch and Town Patrol for free. But none of that will help them make a military early on, really. So, if Lion can do serious damage and pressure to Nope early game, if Lion is able to use the Japanese economy bonuses to get a lead over Byzantines, over Nope, then he'll be in a really good position. Well, it's really hard. However, if Nope gets to the Imperial Age and can start making cataphracts, it's game over for Lion. Because Japanese cataphract and skirmisher, they're powerful cataphracts and they're cheap skirmishers. It just destroys everything that Lion could want to do. But Nope has to get there, and that's not trivial. And he probably won't get there. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, this is a pretty open map, I think. It'd be hard to get there. I don't want to cast doubt on Nope's abilities, but I'm just saying it'd be hard to get to cataphracts in a 1v1 on an open map like this. I don't know that if I've ever seen anybody get cataphracts on a map similar to this one. CA kill Biz. I mean, not really. It's just skirmishers, man. Cheaper skirmishers. I don't recognize Japanese cavalry archers. I think it doesn't make any sense to give the Japanese cavalry archers. You give cavalry archers to horde civilizations. You know, civilizations like the Mongols, the Huns, the Magyars, the Turks. Civilizations where there are lots of large expanses of open wasteland that nobody wants, and so these tribes live on them, and they live a kind of a more nomadic lifestyle, moving from place to place. It's never really any good land that they're fighting over, but they're angry and they're determined, and the Mongols built an empire off of it. But that's not the case with Japan. I mean, maybe somebody saw a book somewhere of a samurai shooting a bow off the back of his horse, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, now we're justified to make the Japanese a horde civilization. But if you look at the history of the Japanese in terms of game design and location, right? They were designed originally as an infantry civilization with some siege and some monk bonuses. Like, they have very strong Shinto, their religion. So, you know, they definitely fit more along the lines of empire type civilizations that, you know, civilizations like, they're more similar to the Byzantines, more similar to the Teutons in the way, in terms of how their societies were designed. So it just does not make any sense. I may have said that before, but not everybody hears everything that I have to say. And while we're waiting for them to build up their Dark Age here, actually Lion is on his way up to the Feudal Age. Lion on 23 pop, going up to the Feudal Age. He's got 3 fishing ships, and so I think that's a pretty aggressive build. I don't know if Lion's going to go man-at-arms with these fishing ships, or if he's just going to make some galleys. Byzantines are popular on this map because it's a single canal, and so if you make fire ships, your opponent cannot really micro the galleys around it. You know, where are you going to go? There's basically just one dimension. You can go this way or that way. There isn't like a whole ocean to dodge around with. Samurai are known to have special bows to fire from horseback. What? My history is off? No. I stand by the statement that the Japanese did not do cavalry archers the way that the Mongols or the Huns did. And they don't deserve to be on the same pedestal as those civilizations for cavalry archers. That's my hot take. Now, the Japanese still had cavalry archers, and the vanilla game, like, fully upgraded cavalry archers. The Japanese had access to them. Uh-oh. Nope, you gotta remember that you can't... Okay, good, he's walling in front of this. So I'm not saying that they shouldn't have cavalry archers. I'm just saying that's not what they're known for. They are known for their infantry, samurai, their honor, bushido, and cavalry archers are an inherently cowardly unit. I'm sorry, I'll just say it. This is literally a unit that fires arrows, does damage, and then runs away from a fight. That is cowardly. That is not the bushido way. And I'm not here, trying to bash. I don't want to bash the devs too hard, but I am saying that philosophically, cavalry archers do not make sense. It could make sense to maybe have a bow on a horseback and like fire it off while you were charging into battle. It could be handy in some situations, but to give them a bonus as though they were on the same level and philosophy as Mongols regarding cavalry archers is bad history, I think. Otter says the 12th century to the 14th century samurai were horse archers. I think that, they were basically their knights. That's what I understand of it. So we see a big fire ship micro battle here with Lion being ahead. Oh, that demolition ship cooking. Yeah, I don't think this is worth fighting over anymore. I mean, Nope might be able to disrupt Lion's fishing ships. That's the other nice things too is, don't get trapped into... I mean, Byzantines are nice because their fire ships do fight faster. They attack faster. But you don't have to get trapped in this. Like, you could go archers and kill these fishing ships just fine. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, Otter. They were like knights. They had a variety of different weapons. The Japanese had a feudal system, very similar to Europe, actually. They had lords and knights. Let's see, what did they have? I forget exactly the names of what their feudal system was called, but it was basically the same thing, right? You would give up land to somebody under you in exchange for their loyalty and military support. It was actually just very similar to how Age of Empires works nowadays, if you really want to know the truth. Those guys are all about trading loyalty in exchange for promotion and other benefits. So you agree to do something for your lord, and your lord will give you land which they had, which they couldn't really use if they were being taken over or conquered. And in exchange, you are expected to serve that lord if the need ever arose. Europe split the roles, Japan didn't. Well, I know that their samurai, maybe it was more so along the lines of their samurai were, there were more layers in the European hierarchy. I think that's what the Otter one is getting at, in the Japanese hierarchy. It's really quite fascinating. I know that the Japanese, let's see, they had the daimyos, and they had something else that I can't remember. And then they had samurai as well. Maybe we'll have to look that up. Nope, unfortunately losing his dock. But he's on his way to the Castle Age, so that explains the score difference here. Lion is in the Feudal Age. He's got a bigger economy. He's got 42 villagers to Nope's 30. So Lion has a huge advantage in economy. But Nope, I think Nope is going to try to build a town center on this stone. And he's going to try to get a castle up and make cataphract. Another nice thing, a compelling thing about Byzantines is if you can get to Dromons, you basically have a direct route to the center of your opponent's town. You can flatten a lot of stuff nearby. If it ever gets there. Okay, so Nope is Castle Age. What's he doing with it? Oh, Nope, no! He's building another dock. It's... Okay, well, to be fair, Lion is making a lot of fishing ships. But you know what Nope could totally do? Like, if Nope had put a bunch of villagers on stone, like, what if Nope deleted this wall right here, and he just walked out like this, and he just dropped a castle, like, right here or something? And at that point, like, Lion is... It would be really cool if Nope could even, like, fit in here. I mean, Nope has got some knights out. Like, wouldn't it have been cool to see Nope do a castle drop, like, right on Lion's 2 docks? Like, build a castle right here. What? What is this? Lion killing one of Nope's spearmen with a demolition raft. That's kind of cheeky. And as I predicted, Nope is building a town center on this stone. I think this is a great town center location. And he wants to get a castle up. He wants stone. Byzantine castles are so annoying to deal with in the Castle Age. They have all that extra health. And in the Castle Age, the only thing that you have to deal with castles is basically rams or petards or not being in Castle Age. Those are your three options. You know, it would have been cool if they gave the Japanese a ninja unique unit. I know that in the scenario editor you can have ninjas, and they exist in random map scripting too, but I'm not exactly sure what they do, what ninjas are good for. They could be like an infantry unit that has a very, very good line of sight, but they're not very strong, but maybe they're fast, you know, and they have a long line of sight or something. Could be fun. Another knight from Nope. This time Lion is in Castle Age, though. He could make some monks to convert them. Lion adding 2 more town centers. Nope is 9 villagers behind. I don't think that it's time for Nope to add town centers. I think 2 town centers is more than enough for Nope, given the number of farms that he has. And Nope needs to be a jerk. He needs to be aggressive. I think it'd be really compelling for Nope to drop a castle on Lion, but he could do like a monk rush. But this villager lead of Lions is just going to get out of control. So short of like Nope stonewalling Lion out, he really can't stop. He really can't catch up with Lion. That's my opinion on that. I'm rooting for Nope because I like to see the Byzantines do well, but they never really do well in the league. It's unfortunate. We have too many maps with too much gold. We need more gold scarce maps. Which actually reminds me. Maybe I'll show off after this cast is done, maybe I'll show off a map that I'm working on for the next season of Alchemy League. So this might look like a good fight, but these Nope Knights don't have any armor upgrades, so he really can't stick around. These are just raiding knights, and they can't go underneath town centers either. Lion building the mother of all walls here. He's got this massive military wall. He's got 3 archery ranges and a barracks. And I think he's going to just continue the wall over here. He's basically walled off his entire half of the map, which is very greedy. But Nope is behind. So Lion can afford to get away with that. And actually, Nope is catching up in villager count. Holy crap. Maybe it's because Lion is investing more in military for now. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, you can walk over these oysters. So that's why it was important for Nope to wall here. Build this wall segment. Alright, so Lion wants in. He's made an army of Japanese crossbowmen. Nope is making an archery range. I think that is not the right call. I think Nope needs to make a siege workshop. Because it's going to take Nope a while to get to the skirmisher numbers he needs to fight off this number of crossbows. He's going to have to get the upgrades. Maybe Nope is looking at it and just sort of figures, you know, I'm going to be going into skirm anyway. I might as well start now. But a mangonel doesn't require any upgrades. So Lion is just going to come back here and chisel away at this wall segment. So what will happen is he'll destroy this wall segment, and then he'll come up this way, and he'll threaten this gold. This is, I don't think this is a very good castle location. I think this castle would be better right here, like a forward castle, to protect the gold. But, you know, it might be enough. But I think that these archers will just come around, destroy this wall, and then threaten the gold. You know, either way. Castle is almost up. So Nope pulling ahead in villager count, at least for now. Lion picking off a couple of villagers, tying it up, and then yeah, they're tied again. So Lion has made some cavalry archers. They're getting wrecked by these skirmishers, though. I think they're missing upgrades, both of them. No, it looks like they got the upgrades. Actually, Nope is the one that's missing some upgrades. It seems that he's only gotten the first armor upgrade. And Lion's only gotten the first armor upgrade. So they're fair. They have the upgrades, basically. Except for that second Castle Age armor. Nope decides to come out here with these skirmishers and confront the crossbowmen that are attacking him. Luckily, these are not Saracen crossbowmen for Nope, so the buildings don't go down very quickly. University for Nope. Now that is an interesting choice. Maybe he's thinking he wants to get ballistics. He's tired of these crossbowmen running around and then him not being able to hit them. So he's going to get ballistics. And it looks like Nope has also made a comeback on water. He made a few surprise fire galleys, and these fishing ships are going to go down quite quickly. I'm not sure why this fire galley changed targets, though. That doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not that it matters, but Nope has repaired this fire ship. Oh. Well, 2 for 1. I guess that was a decent deal for Nope. But Nope needs a few more fire ships. Lion has expanded out to take Nope's gold. Here he is on Nope's gold. Lion doing a good job of spending his resources, except for... Well, okay, he's doing a good job spending his food. He's got a lot of extra wood and gold and stone. I'm wondering if Lion is going to plan for a castle drop or what the deal is. He's also getting a university, so he's thinking about ballistics himself. Let's see what Nope's resources are like. Maybe Nope wants to go up to the Imperial Age. He's got a ton of wood. He could build another castle. He should build another castle. But he's being attacked. He's going to build it here. So this competing castle here is basically an invitation to go Imperial Age at that point. So whoever gets to Imperial Age first will win after that. After these castles go up, so they will tread down the other castle, which is a huge expense. I'm very sad though. I don't see any monks here for Nope, and Lion has built a monastery, but he's only gotten 2 of the relics. So Lion could have a relic countdown going. Actually, no. There's a relic right here that Nope has under these skirmishers, pretty well now locked down. But yeah, Nope needs to delete this lumber camp. He's building a market, so he wants to go up to the next stage. He could delete this lumber camp, spread farms all throughout here, and try to click up, try to get the food that he needs to click up. These farms are not viable because they're in range of the enemy castle. I don't know if petards would work here. I don't think so. But these are feel-bad castles, man. Like, these castles are right in the back of the map. They're not really securing much. They're just defensive castles. They could bring so much more value if they were like 20 or 30 tiles forward toward Lion. But it is what it is. Nope is definitely on the back foot. Lion's Japanese are very powerful. And Nope is on his way up to the Imperial Age again. Byzantine, cheaper Imperial Age. So it's a little bit more affordable. And he's going to be able to tread down Lion's castle. But Lion, through his aggression, is Still managing to do a lot of damage to Nope. Nope might be able to go into Dromons once he's in Imperial Age if he can keep this dock up. And then he could siege down all of these castles, and he could get some decent splash damage on these war galleys. But I don't know that if he can really make the docks necessary to keep up with this. He'll need, you know, at least 3 or 4 Dromons to be able to power through this. Uh-oh, raiding party. Oh, okay, yeah, Lion sees that this foundation is in the way. Can't get in anymore. Nope, under a lot of pressure. Lion building another castle to lock Nope into place. So far, I count 3 castles that are within range of trebuchets within Nope's walls. And Nope has started queuing 2 different trebuchets from 2 different castles. And I think Lion is going to try to get in on them with light cav, but I don't know how effective it will be. Nope will need some cavalry, I think, or maybe a few camels or something. I don't know. It's not really enough. Maybe he could get away with some cataphract. Oh, okay. Nope. Nope is gonna try and kill some villagers over here before getting chased off by a completed castle. This castle is definitely the priority. Although both of these castles from Lion. See, I don't know that I agree with dividing the trebuchets like this. I get why, you know, because he feels like Lion is so far away from Imperial Age, but just focus fire one castle down first, and then get another. Because Lion might be able to buy enough time with these repair villagers. But both of Lion's castles basically deny Nope's golds. They're very, very aggressive castles. So that castle goes down. Nope will probably come over here to siege this castle now with these trebuchets. And Lion did this last game too. He built a bunch of frivolous castles, and Nope went in first and trebbed them down. I don't know if that's part of Lion's strategy. Like, he just likes to box his opponent in, not really think about it or worry about it, so he can focus on his macro and then build up his economy behind it. And then by the time his opponent has cleared out the castles, Lion's ready. Maybe that's just, you know, that's how Lion works. I don't know. But he did basically the same thing last game. Lion's at 120 villagers. Nope is at 106 villagers somewhere. I don't know where they all are, honestly. And it seems like Nope's villagers are occupy such a small fraction of the map. But Lion is better at taking map control than Nope. Alright, so what does Nope do now? He saw the light cav, so he makes a camel. But it doesn't really look like he's doing anything. Let's see what his resources look like. Maybe he can't afford to do anything, and that's why. He's got 6,000 wood. So Lion's pressure is really getting Nope. He doesn't have the farms that he needs. He needs to have like 10 barracks. But this has been a hard game for Nope. He's just constantly under attack. He has a massive economy imbalance. Lion's gonna run in with these samurai and just like chop down these trebuchets easily. But Nope has managed to kill 3 castles. So he's happy about that, and it only cost him like 3 trebuchets. But Nope really needs to spend these resources and reallocate his economy. Otherwise, this is gonna be over pretty quickly. Nope sees this castle going up. He's headed out this way with some skirmishers to stop it. Oh, no. Skirmisher javelins are coming down. They're killing villagers. I would go close formation at this point. Try to pick off the last of the villagers. Nope is rolling forward with the trebuchet, and he's going to be able to lay siege to this castle at the cost of all those skirmishers. These guys are not working because Lion made one random scorpion, and now Nope has to respond to it. And he's made a couple of rams too. Lion with very good military control. He's everywhere, putting a lot of pressure on his opponent. Alright, Nope has made a cataphract. An excellent choice. These are elite skirmisher now, or sorry, elite samurai. And this is not enough cataphract. Remember, samurai get bonus damage against cataphract as well. And cataphracts do better against samurai for equal resources and equal upgrades, but equal upgrades and equal resources are not equal. And Nope calling the GG. He's just out. He has 112 villagers and nowhere to put them. No map control. Lion's been all over him like stink on a pig. Didn't give Nope any breathing room. And it paid off. Alright, let's take a look at the statistics. So the kill to death is a little bit more even this time. Lion with a lot more buildings raised, though, compared to losses, and a largest army of 41. Lion with way more resources collected across the board. Better feudal age time for Lion, but better castle and imperial age time for Nope. And let's see. Lion with 5 castles, of which Nope destroyed at least 3. And got 4 relics, never got the relic closest to Nope. Villager high of 150. So I thought those were some pretty good games. I think Nope did a decent job surviving against the Lion onslaught. But these sorts of onslaughts are good training for Nope. Nope will get even better. So I'm going to show something real quick, and then we'll get into Raven versus Otter. Let's see. Let's see. Wanted to show you guys the Aleutian Islands map that I've proposed for Alchemy League Season 8. Featuring a return to Alaska. Let's see. Actually, I don't think I'm going to show it that way. I think I'm going to show it with... Let's see. One sec, guys. Just kind of spur of the moment decided to show this. Here we go. Alright. So we'll change the overlay. Alright. So it's a mini map for the 1v1 Aleutian Islands map. Come on. Zoom in. There you go. So it's sort of the idea is like some scattered organic-shaped volcanic islands. The players are actually set in the caldera of a dormant volcano. And there's some fish, and then there's this little black line here, this thin black line, which is a boundary. So nothing happens out here. It's just the edge of the map, kind of like how Zetnus's Canberra has a smaller play area than what's used in the map, or Socotra has a smaller play area, etc. I'll show a picture of the border, actually. So you can see this black line right here. This is the border. So you start with a free transport ship, and the transport ship can sail anywhere inside of this border, and it can't sail outside of the border at all. What else was I going to add about that? It cannot offload any units on this border either. That was the other thing I was going to say. So you can't get out here. You can't unload an army and then walk along. And it's guaranteed that there will be at least like 6 tiles from the edge of a landmass to this border. Show you another picture. It's like a bay area. Lots of geese. Making use of these new foxes. This is the reason why I couldn't show the map in-game. Even though I'm in-game, I can't show it because it relies on the preview update. And these foxes are not part of the game yet. So, hey, I'm an exclusive content creator now. So yeah, we've got some red foxes, and they are the only source. The red foxes and gold, and relics are the only source of gold on this Aleutian Islands map. So it should be very, very aggressive. We'll show what the start looks like. Welcome to Rabbit Town. So you've got, each of these foxes has 100 gold in it, and there's 5 of them. So that's basically 500 gold that you can take that are essentially within your walls. But these aren't really much of walls, because this is just a fence. Because all the fence is designed to do is it's just designed to keep these rabbits safe from the foxes. Because if you don't have the foxes here, the rabbits, the fence, the foxes will just go and eat the rabbits, and we don't want that. And of course, you got stone inside of your walls as well. So I think it'll be interesting. And you can see that there's sort of like a little depression here, and some cracks. Oh, that reminds me, I got to add a little bit of smoke coming up too. Now, here is another picture, like the bay area. I think you guys have seen that with the foxes already. I already showed that. The final thing I was going to say is, in larger sizes, like in 4v4, you actually have sort of this interlocking shape player starting areas, and a little bit more discrete islands in that case. So could be very interesting. It might be too controversial. I don't know. Might have to revise it, but I really wanted to do like this organic random island shape with like a chain pattern. I really wanted to do that justice for this upcoming season of Alchemy League, where we're going back to Alaska. And I felt badly that the last map that we had, where somebody attempted to make an Aleutian Islands map, I felt very badly that we were not able to use their work. They probably worked on it for a good number of hours too. But the spec gave them bad direction, and the map was not competitive. So anyway, so there you go. In 1v1, this is what it'll approximately look like. Some scattered fish, but a lot of rabbits. So, all right, let's go and spectate Otter versus Raven now. Oh, I was going to bring up their drafts one more time, so let's do that. We'll talk about their maps too. But it was fun making that map, because I don't get the chance to make many maps anymore. I'm more so doing tournament organization. But I still, from time to time, get to help make maps. I certainly get to go over maps and make sure that they're done right. So Raven versus the Otter one. Map of the round. This is not round wild. This is round 4. So map of the round is Shipwreck. And then they took turns discarding maps until only Paradise Islands remains. So the civilizations available to Raven are Magyars, Chinese, and Byzantines. And the civilizations available to the Otter one are Italians, Armenians, and Bengalis. Alright, let's jump into it. Yeah, those are some long games from Lion and Nope. They're very boomy games. But these maps are more aggressive, so I don't think these games will be nearly as long. So this is Shipwreck by TechChariot. If you can kind of tell from looking at the mini-map, but you read the spec and you just see Raven's Scout on this side. So this, you can walk all across this. You can't reach the fish, but you can walk across it. You can take the fish with docks. So they got the winter version of Shipwreck. I want to do something, you know, where we had a bunch of ice and we kind of had a reef area. And it just kind of made sense how somebody could get shipwrecked here. Because on the vanilla Shipwreck map, it's just like, okay, you know, there's basically a channel that's 30 feet across, and they got shipwrecked there, and they can't swim back across. It's just kind of silly. But with this, it's like this is clearly a coastal region, and they just got blown into the centermost island. All right, and Raven coming over here trying to lame the Otter one. The Otter one kills that goose to prevent Raven from getting it. No, Raven kills it. And Otter is going to get away with this goose, I think. Nope. Raven converts it back, so I think the Otter is going to come back this way, maybe. This is a very aggressive lumber camp from Raven, though. What is Raven doing with that? I don't... Does he not know about other... I mean, he knows about other wood options. It's just a very strange choice that Raven would take this one instead of like... Oops, we're on view lock. Yeah, laming. Exactly. So, alright, so, yeah, Raven with a very weird choice of, like, this makes sense. This lumber camp from Otter makes sense. This lumber camp from Raven makes no sense at all. Like, Raven, why would you not build your lumber camp here? Or over here? Or even... actually, there is no better... Yeah, like, he'd have to go all the way over here. But he could do that. That's even further away. Hey! Welcome, Adam. I know who you are, wink wink. Were those my goose or his? I don't even know, man. I missed it in the wreck. I was busy panning over the map, describing it, and I missed it. I'm sorry about that. I don't know whose geese those were. I don't... Let's see, actually, how fat are those geese? How fat is this goose right here? Okay, it's 100. So it's a normal goose. The rest of the geese out here are only 25. I was like, you know what? It's freaking a reef, okay? It's just covered in all kinds of birds and bird crap and everything. They're just everywhere. So I was like, I need to put lots of geese down. But it didn't make any sense from a gameplay perspective to give the geese 100 food. So there's tons of 25 food geese just all over this map. Really useful for scouting, but, you know, not crazy broken. You just have to click on them to see that, yeah, these geese don't have very much food. It was, yeah, so 100 geese. Yeah, it was, they were in the middle. I don't know whose they were, to be honest. These players are starting so close together, it's almost like you're stealing, like, sheep from your ally in Lombardia. It's a similar sort of situation. We got the chickens, so people can't push their enemies' meat underneath their town center. And because I wanted to use chicken. Otter's going for the crap geese. Yeah, these geese only have 25 HP. But there are lots of them. And Otter, if he were running around, he could find more. There's some more geese over here. There's some more geese over here. So there really are tons of geese on this map. So they are crap geese, but they're better than nothing. Probably yours, you think. You think he lamed you, huh? We've seen Raven lame before. He is a little bit of a lamer boy. That's okay, though. It makes things interesting. And there's no rule against it in the tournament. Yeah, look at this goose just evaporate. These geese. Otter's like, what am I, Britons? Could you imagine Britons eating these geese? It'd just be like a vacuum cleaner. The geese would be gone instantly. Otter taking the chickens, too. Oh, Raven is Byzantines and Otter is Italian. So the good news for Otter is that feudal age is cheaper. The good news for Raven is that he's got Byzantines. So I don't know what Raven is going to do with the Byzantines. He's probably going to go fires. He seems pretty invested in, like, fish food. He's taking some shore fish here, and he's taking some deep fish here. These are the great fish marlins, too. Yeah, Otter's got 4 fishing ships as well. Raven clicks up later. Otter does click up first. Now, in the past, I've cast games on this where people have snuck villagers out and taken gold, like, off on the rest of the map, and actually been able to get away with that because their opponent didn't find it. Maybe we'll see a similar situation here where Otter or Raven will sneak some villagers off and take some resources. Otter not taking any chances, though. This gold for now is secure, so he's going to build a mining camp here. It's a good choice of mining camp. Pretty solid as long as he can defend it. Raven building a blacksmith. So Raven's got 2 on gold. This tells me that Raven is planning man-at-arms. I think. I think he is, but he shouldn't he have had this blacksmith up making militia already? He's not making them now either. Yeah, maybe it's like an archer build of some kind. Usually 2 on gold is telltale of man-at-arms, though. I actually think Byzantines have a very compelling man-at-arms brush. Like man-at-arms plus towers. Because their towers have more health. It's just harder to get rid of them. But yeah, he's going archers. Otter here with the scout. It's going to attack Raven viciously. Raven gets the first hit. Needs to build some houses. So Otter opening with a range himself. And Otter going into archers as well. So it looks like it's a mirror archers build. Otter has also made a fire ship, and Raven's made a fire ship, so they're gonna duke it out with fire ships for a little bit. Otter starts firing first, but Raven is Byzantines, so who knows what could happen here. Maybe Otter will win, maybe Raven will. Otter's gonna take the hill advantage. That's so funny. Yes, ships can get hill bonuses, you guys. Oh! I think the scout gets a doink and just barely manages to finish off Otter's fire ship, but Otter has another one. Raven has collected some crap geese. Yeah, only 25 food, but he'll take them. It's better than nothing. Can't hurt you. We got a skirmisher here. And yeah, Otter's building up with the archers for a main attack later. Raven making some skirmishers as well. Alright, so kind of a stalemate. These guys haven't done much damage to each other. I think they're kind of waiting on upgrades. They're both getting fletching now. They have similar builds, similar ideas. It's basically the Western Roman Empire versus the Eastern Roman Empire. But in this case, the Western Roman Empire is on the eastern side, and the Eastern Roman Empire is on the western side. So it's kind of opposite. And Otter gonna try to kind of like seal this off so he doesn't have to worry about this as much. Doesn't have to worry about his opponent coming through that way. It doesn't look like Otter has any resource collection out here. Raven's actually taking this gold. And this actually isn't gold, this is oysters. And these are good oysters too. They got 800 in them apiece. I guess Raven feels like this gold is too forward. Easy for his opponent to pressure. He's almost out of wood here, though. He'll have to refresh his lumber camp. You can see that he's continuing his own wall. Is Otter going to shoot the chickens? Nope, he ignores the chickens. Oh, it's their lucky day. So Raven with a score lead, but not on his berries. Is Otter at least on his berries at this point? Yeah, even Otter's on his berries. He's got a single forager working on it. Must not be a very compelling type of food. So the fish, I mean, there are fish, but they're not great on this map. You know, they're spaced pretty far apart. So I don't expect the players to go too heavily into water, especially given how close they are to each other. Alright, so Raven's got 8 units here, and Otter's got 5, so Otter pulling back to regroup. Looks like he's got something in this range he's going to pop out and join to reinforce his army. But neither player is really... They both have kind of made fires, trickled the fires into each other. Nobody's really done anything too revolutionary so far. They've done very similar mirror-type builds. Both going for archers. I like how Otter walled to this dock. I guess it's better than nothing, but his opponent can just walk across and then walk back again. So, you know, it's not really going to keep Raven out. It's just going to give Otter some time to react with a demolition ship. Where's Otter's demolition raft? That's what he needs. Is Raven just going to walk through here? He is, but he's going to take damage. And then I think Otter will fight that. Unless Otter's not around. Because Otter went to raid Raven, which is possible. Yeah, Otter went over here. So they both take an opportunity to attack each other. I think Raven should have just stayed here. Or he should have just cut out this way. But knowing Otter as Raven does, he's afraid of a demolition raft inside of this dock. And his fear is extremely justified. Because there is a demolition raft inside that dock. So, if he had crossed this channel... Yeah, Otter... I see the chat now. Otter's saying it's in my dock. If he had crossed this channel, he would have lost all of those units. They would have gotten blown up. Otter's reputation precedes him as a lover of explosions. But Otter not doing... I guess Otter's trying to stay away from this demolition ship, but his army is not doing too much better. We got like 3 archers get burned by a fire ship. Now they're crossbowmen, and Otter is booking it out of here. Watch his side. Alright. He knows as well. Yeah, Raven is too smart for that. He knows the tale of Otter. He's not falling for it. Okay, Otter's making some knights. Raven's kind of walled to his town center as well. Otter chiseling this palisade to try to get in on Raven. Doesn't look like Raven... I guess Raven is still on these oysters and the Otter one doesn't know about it. Yeah, the Otter knows that there are oysters here, but he does not know that Raven is taking them, which is a big win for Raven. If Otter knew about these oysters... these knights would be over here, and they would be cutting down villagers. So, Otter, I don't know if you've seen the official version of Shipwreck, you know, that was done by Crazini, the official developers. But it's got more visible crossings. It has a similar number of fairly distributed crossings over this channel. But they're more visible, you know, they're not like small, narrow crossings. I kind of like it a little bit better. But on the other hand, my crossings that I did on this map are better for demolition ships. Because the units are literally forced into like one tile thick gap a lot of the time. Alright, so Otter does get in here. Raven is Castle Age now. And he's making camels. Alright, that's a good idea. You played it in FFA a bunch of years back. Oh, really? So the map is not new then. that version of Shipwreck is not new. Cruzzini's had it around for a while, and they just asked him, hey, you got anything that we can use to upgrade the ES maps with? And he said, here, use this one. The Otter one tested it in FFA. It's good. Otter coming in for a raid. He kills a couple villagers, but he loses almost his entire army. And now this knight is going to go down to camels. And the Otter one wants to build a forward monastery in Raven's base. This is an interesting choice. Raven has some crossbows here. I don't know how well that's going to go. No. Yeah, not the OG one. The OG one is in bad shape. That one is very broken. No, Cruzzini recently added one to the official map pool. They basically took that original Ensemble Studios, and he actually made something that looks very similar to this. He doesn't have a reef theme out here, but his crossings are probably more intuitive than mine. So he did do the crossings better than I did. Don't tell him I said that though. No, it's fine. It's fine if he knows. It was actually really interesting to look at a lot of those Cruzzini reworks of the Ensemble Studios originals. What was really interesting is the timing. That they're basically coming out like halfway through this season of Alchemy League, where we have our own remastered Ensemble Studios maps. It's really interesting timing. I'm not sure what to make of it. I have a hard time believing that it's coincidence. It's either very flattering. They're like, oh, yeah, no, let's... You know, Tech is right. We should have upgraded versions of these maps available to players. So as devs, we're going to release that. Or if it was like, oh, we can't let Alchemy have, you know, the best original ES remakes. We better remake them ourselves. Maybe it was a little bit of both. I don't know. Otter... Ooh, microing past that mangonel. Otter's made a Scorpion instead. Scorpions are harder to micro against. And they've got a lot of Pierce armor, too. So with that Scorpion now, I think Otter wins the crossbow fight. Unfortunately for Otter, this monastery was a nice try, but it didn't go very far. Both these players are still on one town center, which I love. Otter has, I think he's won water. I don't think Raven is still contesting water. I don't think Raven cares too much about water anymore. He's got a score lead, so maybe that tells him that he's doing well economically. And he's got the 2 town centers. He's got 48 villagers to Otter's 53. Otter with 2 town centers as well. I think the difference is basically the fishing ships. But both of these guys are like scrapping over this small area in the middle. Yep, no, I know. You're both on 2 TCs. But they're not on multiple TCs. Beyond 2. It's still pretty aggressive. I just couldn't imagine, and there's probably some guy out there that's like, oh yeah, this looks like a 4 town center boom map. I would say 5 town centers, but it's pretty aggressive, so I would only boom on 4 town centers on this map. The difference is eco KD. Otter has killed a lot of villagers and also idled a lot of villagers. Well, that's fair, right? Would you be idling that many if you weren't killing that many? Yeah, I think these guys... Yeah, this is not a good map to be a villager on, I think. It's very brutal. I'm surprised nobody has gone into, like, monks and mangonels yet. I guess Otter has started to make mangonels. But instead of building a monastery here, he should build a monastery over here. And he should also eject some demolition rafts in preparation of an exodus. It's only a matter of time before Raven decides he's going to send 10 villagers out here. Actually, Raven's already sort of decided that. He sent 6 villagers to take this stone. Yep. Matzi. That name looks familiar. I thought I saw him... Oh, you're talking about somebody that likes to greedily boom. A player that likes to greedily boom. Matsy. I think I've seen him clownfish our server a couple of times. And I've seen him on Shixo's stream, too. Maybe a German player. Which is why you're familiar with him. I love these mangonels here from Otter. These are a good choice. Like, they are very efficient. They're much more effective than crossbows at taking down buildings if you're not Saracens. And they will pummel archers like this. Like Raven is playing with fire. He can't do this. Otter should send somebody out to repair this mangonel. But Raven will need mangonels of his own, or monks with redemption, to deal with this. And now Otter's just got to add some monks so that he can convert camels and stuff, and he'll be good to go. I think he's got enough crossbows here to kill the light calves or the scouts as they come out. But I really envision this map as a monk siege push map once you get there. And I think both these players are in that position. Raven's 69 villagers to Otter's 55. Yeah, I don't know, Matsy. He's afraid of our server, Otter. I think I've seen him come to our server twice and then leave shortly afterward. Maybe he's thinking about the league, but he's just not completely sold yet. Alright, we got a monk here for Raven. I think Raven is starting to think about it. Wait! Raven is on his way to the Imperial Age. Otter is on his way to drop a castle. I don't know about this castle. I guess it does it does deny the berries once and for all. And actually, Raven has a castle here, which is pretty annoying. Perhaps driving Otter off of his wood line, so Otter retaliates with a castle of his own. Couple of knights here. Too bad there aren't any monks to convert them. They pick off 2 siege weapons. Otter focused on building this castle, though. But it will be unfortunate for Otter if this castle goes up and then goes down shortly afterward because Raven is Imperial Age and makes trebuchets. Otter has built another town center back here, nestled between these 2 mountains. And he's taking some gold and some wood from it. And Raven, not so much. Raven just found these geese, and he's going to take these geese home. But Otter's on 3 town centers now, and Raven is only on 2. But dang, you know, Raven he's taking a beating here. He's basically got no villagers working around these 2 town centers, but he's Imperial Age. And with Imperial Age comes a trebuchet and monk push. Maybe. Where is Raven going? Yeah, see, look at this Exodus right here. Imagine if this demolition raft were yellow instead of cyan. Boom! 10 dead villagers. Alright, but actually, credit to the Otter one. He's going to discover this. He's got his exploration looking at like, alright, where's my opponent taking gold? I know my opponent's going to go out and try to take gold. Can Raven get... Oh my goodness, Raven denies the scouting info. Dang. That is lucky for Raven. So Otter doesn't know about this. But Otter does know that he's got a ram pushing. And Raven's got a trebuchet pushing Otter. And he's got a ragtag band of archers and some skirmishers here. This ram is really good, though. Otter can use this ram to absorb arrow fire if Raven is not microing properly. Is Otter anywhere near the Imperial Age? It doesn't look like it. We're looking at his resource point of view. He's not really that close. I don't think he can save this castle, and that's why he's not trying. But it did give him a safe place to take wood for a little while, I guess. The Otter one is getting cavalry upgrades. He found some geese, and he's just sending... Oh, okay, he's trying to get him home. Thought he was sending him to the corner. And Raven building an archery range back here. And maybe Raven planning on Arbalister long term. Ooh. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, actually, that was actually pretty bad. So Raven's Demolition Raft there, cutting off the Otter One's archers and blowing up 6 of them. Raven coming out here with some villagers. And he's probably going to build a town center. Maybe on this wood line or near this stone or something, like maybe right here or up here. Nope, just a mining camp. Figures he needs more stone. The Otter One is demolishing this part of Raven's base, and Raven is using trebuchets to demolish this part of the Otter One's base. You know, this is a really good game. These guys are Alchemy League veterans, especially the Otter One. It's very entertaining to watch these guys play. I'm very grateful that they're both a part of our league, and I hope to keep them part of the league for a long time. As long as the league is going on, because they have fun with it. But they're definitely working this game. This game is making them work hard. They're both killing each other pretty brutally. With Raven having a slight advantage right now because he's Imperial Age. And because he had a demolition ship in the right place at the right time. If that demolition ship were not there, Otter's crossbows would probably... Because I think Otter One knows about this. Right? No, I guess he doesn't know about this. I don't know why... Oh, wait, the mining camp. So he probably saw the mining camp, or he knew about this mining camp and wanted to go back there to check it out. And then he would have found this, because it's not that much further away. So this town center has gone down, and Raven continuing to expand in his conquest of the main starting island. All of the relics are on the starting island, so you're definitely incentivized to fight over it. Although, I don't think Raven's done a good job of picking them up. Let's see how many he has. Otter One comes in for a very devastating raid. Yeah, this hurts. What is this? A knight. Yeah, that knight is going to go down to light cav eventually. And actually, Raven has 4 relics, so all Raven needs to do... Oh, here it is. I think this is it. I think he knows. All Raven has to do is pick up this relic and walk back this way and put it in the monastery, and he can trigger a relic countdown. And I think that's what he's going for. Otter with a really decent raid on Raven, actually. I mean, Otter's got a 12-13 villager lead. Wait, no way. Is Otter going to intercept this? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. That was more important for Otter than I think he realized. Or maybe he did realize. Because he was like, oh, wait a second. I don't have any relics. That means my opponent's probably getting them all. So, even more reason for Otter to have these annoying light cav raids in this area. And it is pretty annoying. I mean, Otter got... I believe he got... Yeah, he got the Castle Age armor upgrade for these boys. So, it's even more annoying. So Otter in a moment of pure prescience is like, I just need to kill this monk right here. And Raven's trying to build another monk, but he doesn't have enough houses, so he's going to build a castle instead. And this castle will help him defend this monastery. Raven is definitely thinking, oh yeah, okay, I can get my opponent to resign if I have all the relics under my control under a monastery that's protected by a castle. The Otter One, I've scared him out to the outer ring. The Otter One, you can see, is continuing his evacuation. He's not dead. He's down. But he just calls the GG. Did Raven... No, Raven didn't even garrison that. I guess the Otter One decided enough is enough. Yeah. Yeah, literally that light cav raid forced a castle out of him. That was pretty funny. So Raven eventually overpowering the Otter One. A fantastic game. Very, very, very rough. Some unlucky moments for the Otter One. Some ironic demolition ships explosions. Not scouting the gold out here. He definitely had some unlucky moments. But Raven just kind of turtling into that Imperial Age. Killed his eco but couldn't stop his arbs. I think that's a pretty good analogy. And on a map like this, where you know that your opponent is going to get the relic victory countdown pretty soon, it could be... Yeah, Raven's only 52 villagers. He never had... I don't think he ever had the villager lead. Threw it early castle because the mouse didn't work. I really think you should have just opened... I mean, maybe like a few pikes, but I think a monk mangonel open would have been stronger. Maybe not. I know that building a monastery out here was probably not the best idea. But that was a really fun game. Let's take a look at the statistics. Alright, so Raven with 158 kills, 117 units lost, 33 buildings destroyed, 15 lost, 3 conversions, large army. Otter had more food, Raven had more wood and stone, and Otter had more gold. Okay. Otter with more feudal and castle age, Raven with more imperial age. Yeah, just because Otter lost a ton of siege weapons to just random knights and stuff that were running around killing things. Raven with 2 castles and 1,600 relic gold, but Otter with the villager high of 83. So, really entertaining game. But I would expect nothing less of players of this caliber on a league of this caliber. These guys are good opponents. Playing on some unique maps with some creative strategies. Alright, so Paradise Island was made by TechChariot, and Magico helped out a lot with this. It was kind of his first map. He's new to the community. I think it's an improvement over traditional Paradise Island. You basically have this sanctuary in the middle, and you've got a lagoon around that sanctuary. I wish he had kind of decorated this area a little bit more, but I guess it wasn't strictly necessary, but it could have been cool to have some like trees and stuff in here. Maybe a few more rock objects. It's guarded by these jaguars. And you can fish, but the fish are not great on this map. They're actually probably worse than Shipwreck because they are guarded by wolves. Well, in this case, tigers. But you can't go immediately toward the fish because the tigers are everywhere. And they're going to keep you from going there too soon unless you really micro it down or get loom first or something. Maybe get loom and go in with your scout. You can sort of do things. Okay, so the Otter one is playing as the Armenians. And Raven is playing as the Chinese. What is this? Raven's already loaded up in the transport ship. And did he come over here to lame? I'm following this transport ship now. If sheep hop out of this transport ship, I'm going to be very, very... I'm going to be very emotionally disturbed. And yep, looks like he just stole a random sheep. So this... And that leads me to my final point, the transport ships. So this water is undockable. This is not real beach terrain. You cannot dock this. You cannot build ships here at all. So... Raven says, I have 3 boars. And the Otter one has 3 boars as well. 1, 2, 3. 3 boars. So you get up quick with the 3 boars. That's the idea. And then it's very vicious fight after that. This transport ship is the same transport ship that we had in Alchemy League Season 5, the space maps. That transport ship is immortal. It can be killed, but it always respawns. It does regenerate. If it's killed, anything that's inside of it is destroyed. So basically, this transport ship assures, and it can store 232 units. This transport ship assures access to the sanctuary at all times. Now, you know what I would love to see? And I don't know if we're going to see it, but, you know, the Otter one is playing as the Armenians, and they get a free relic in their monastery starting out with, which is actually a really retarded bonus, if you really want to know the truth. I don't think the devs... Because all that the Armenians have to do to prevent a relic victory is build a monastery in the back of their base, and it just spawns a relic automatically. And then their opponent doesn't have all of the relics. It's just nonsense. It's completely unfair. But because nobody plays standard victory condition except us, the devs were like, oh, this is a good idea, let's do this. So the Otter one could prevent Raven from getting a relic victory in that way. But I would love to see relic victory on this. There is not a lot of gold. I mean, it's one gold pile of 4. One pile of 4. One pile of 4. And there's a pile of 5 stone. And then it looks like there are 2 golds that are kind of neutral and far away. And then there's another random stone there, I guess. And there could be... yeah, and there's another random stone here. So, there's a couple random golds and stones, but not that many. And we've seen some pretty good games. Post-patch Crorina, to be exact. I miss Crorina. We've seen a number of games on this map where people have been like selling stone for gold, and it's just been epic. We had a really good, I think it was Ice-T versus Roderick's game on this map, where Ice-T was like selling tons of stone, and Roderick's was pushing into his base with monks and all of the relics, and it was just crazy. So, you know, this map is definitely capable of producing some good games. I think it's important that there aren't too many resources on the map, because the ability to deny resources is an important part of Age of Empires. You know, figuring out where your opponent's resources are and then how to deny them wins you games. And Oladushik is notorious for building towers and stuff all over your resources. With the Otter one killing that deer, preparing it to be taken. So I'm definitely a big fan of not over-resourcing maps. And it's not intuitive when you're making maps. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Alright, Raven has Loom. He's okay. It's not intuitive when you're making maps, because you're like, oh, resources here, resources there. They look great. Isn't that beautiful? But games can just go on and on and on with all the resources. So, scarcity is a good thing. So let's see. Both players are pretty much feudal age. 25, 26 pop for them. Slightly more pop for Raven. Probably Otter just having a little bit of idle time, or maybe no, they both got Loom. So I don't know exactly what the reason was. I just know that Otter is building a barracks. He's building a barracks. He found his gold. I don't think Otter's going fast castle. He doesn't have the resources for it. And going fast castle on this map is very dangerous anyway. Otter trying to pick off a villager, but he's not going to get there in time. And the town center thrusts some arrows into him, causing the scout to go down. Chinese start with 3 more villagers. Oh. That's true. Good point. Thank you for the reminder, Raven. Or, Otter. So Otter reminds us that the reason that Raven has more villagers is because he's Chinese. And they start with more villagers. And they have to get Loom immediately. So, of course Raven has. Kind of handy on a 3-board map. Ah, that explains it. So, yes, of course Raven has Loom. The question is, does Otter get Loom? And yes, Otter did get Loom. Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention to that. That makes perfect sense. Thank you. So Otter's come over here with a fire ship. Raven hasn't built anything so far that I see. I mean, maybe they fought a little bit. Okay, there it is. So it's always fire ship this, fire ship that. There will be no naval combat in the center, though, because, number 1, no resources, so nothing to fight over. But I guess they're the relics, which kind of count. But number 2, not dockable. He didn't know. That's true. He did ask. He did ask. It was lucky. It was lucky. Good point. Yeah, I guess I'm I haven't been sleeping well lately, so I'm a little bit slow today. So I really appreciate the reminders, Otter. Thank you. Otter coming in with some scouts. He's going to scout rush his opponent. Thinking about going for the berries, but the gold is more attractive. No, don't stop. Oh, Raven with the quick wall. If only Otter had kept going. So he's going to go and scout rush the villagers on wood instead. I'm surprised Raven didn't do more. I guess he had spearmen, so he didn't really need to quick wall that to the same extent. You thought he knew because he sniped your Mongols. But apparently not. So that must have been luck too. I mean, Mongols are just a generally strong civilization on a lot of League maps anyway, which feature a lot of hunted meat. Yeah, I actually don't know what Raven's plan is, if you want to know the truth. He's made a couple of spearmen, and he didn't go feudal age too late, but he doesn't really seem to be... I don't know, he loses a villager to the Otter one. I don't really know. I don't know what Raven's plan is here. It doesn't seem like Raven really has a plan. Let's check his resources. Maybe his point of view will tell us. Alright, so he wants Castle Age. His resources are suggesting fast castle into crossbows. He's made an archery range. He's making one archer. He's making a blacksmith now. Otter Walden is scout. Otter trying to get some more damage, but the spearman intercepts. He's got to run away. Alright, Raven on his way up to Castle Age, but Otter is halfway up. So Raven basically went nothing. He didn't really have a plan for Feudal Age except to make some counter units. And be that as it may, Otter is still headed up to the Castle Age first. Even though Otter spent all this food on scouts. So Otter definitely had a better build than Raven did. Chinese are tough to build out anyway. And wait, what? What happened? Raven has to leave. So Raven resigns. And the Otter one... Well, I mean, I guess I have a recording for the game. Oh, too bad. So Raven resigned. I guess we'll just go over the statistics. But that's very surprising. Alright, so Raven with 7 kills, 5 deaths. I think a lot of those kills were scouts, maybe some fire ship kills, who knows. Otter with more wood collected, Raven with more food collected. Raven with slightly faster feudal age time. Oh, he must have had to go. That's too bad. Paused for 10 minutes. He made you wait for 40 minutes. That's too bad. Well, thank you for playing him. Villager high of 42 for Raven. So, I mean, he was in an okay position for the time being. But we never really got to see what Otter or Raven had planned for that second game. Alright, well, I'll still count it for the league, because I do have a recording for it, and they did play for a while, and it was enough time for a result to follow. But it's disappointing that he had to leave early. I'm not sure what happened with that. So, thank you everybody for tuning in. I think we had some pretty entertaining games from this cast. And I don't think I'll be doing any more casts from the first sprint. I mean, I might. But if I don't, then I'll see you on Sprint 2. So thanks, guys, for joining, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.